Welcome to the Transformational Coach podcast with me, Rona Barton, giving you competence with confidence. In this week's episode, we're thinking about taking action and getting started. So now that we've considered what our dreams are and we've set ourselves some goals for those, what are the next steps? Or what are the very first steps you take towards your goals? And then what comes after that? It's all well and good setting yourself some goals, but if you don't put action into them, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to sit on that piece of paper that you've been scribbling on for the past couple of weeks, and nothing is going to happen with them. So think about this. What is the very first step towards your goal? Write that down. And now think about what stops you from starting and what you can do about it. For me, everything comes back to perfectionism. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why it's in my head. No matter how much coaching I have, how deeply I delve into it, for now I haven't cracked this one. Perfectionism is my Achilles heel. I almost didn't start this podcast because it wasn't perfect in my mind, because I didn't have the right equipment. I didn't know how to add on music or sounds or to be able to lay one track on top of another track. At this point in time, I'm just happy to have my podcast out there. I'm quite sure as it grows, as it develops, as I change, as I become more comfortable podcasting and working with the software and the equipment that I currently use, it will begin to sound slicker, perhaps more professional. I'm not sure at this point in time. I don't know if it will ever reach whatever my ideal or idea of perfectionism is. But I'm doing my best in 2020 to try to not let perfectionism stop me. So in terms of what I could do about it, the short answer for me is just get started. But what about you? What's the easiest step you can take towards taking action and getting started on meeting your goals? The smallest action step. Have a think about it. Take some time, go back to your goals, go back to the list, and think about the smallest step you can take to create action for yourself. When you look at the list of things, of steps to take, which action calls to you the most? Which one leaps out at you? That's the one you should concentrate on. Let's imagine that you've just had an ideal week. What 3 things did you manage to complete in order to move your goals forward? Take some time, consider it, write it down. When you've got that, think about how you can build on it for next week or tomorrow even. I'm purely working in weeks because that's when the podcast releases, and it's like I can give you homework for in-between times. If you'd like me to take a look at your homework, feel free to drop me a message, send information over to me. I promise not to use names during the podcast unless you give me specific permission. But think about these 3 podcasts you've listened to so far in relation to our topic this month of goals and dreams. You started off listing what your dreams were for your life and what kept coming back to mind for you. We moved on to look at SMART goals and how you would measure what you've completed and how you would know when it was done, and you gave yourself an end date to help you focus on that. Where does your end date sit now? When you take these actions to get you started, will it bring you closer to that end date? Is that date still realistic for what you're hoping to achieve? I have often fallen foul myself of setting a date for something and then life takes over and I don't manage to achieve that date. And instead of realising in my own mind that life happens, sometimes things come at you without any warning, I beat myself up for not having made the date that I'd originally set for myself. It's only when I speak to the likes of my own coach, or I'm chatting with a friend and we're discussing their issues, that I hear what I'm saying to them, which is usually along the lines of, don't be so hard on yourself, life happens, review what you had hoped for, adjust your plans. So, what's going on with you? What has stopped you meeting your goals for this week? What action can you take to get back on track? Let me know what you think. It's a short one this week, but I'm interested in hearing your input. Enjoy what's left of your day, and I'll speak to you next week.